Hey everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to do a tag today. So the tag that I'm going to do is the feminist tag, and I don't quite know how I've missed this. I think I meant to do it in February because of Feminist Feb, but clearly I completely forgot, so I'm going to do it this month. So anybody that's kind of listened to me ramble before knows I'm really passionate about empowering women and about feminism. So this is the perfect tag for me. So I've got the questions over there on my laptop, and I've got the books I'm going to be talking about, so I actually prepared, over here. So let's get into the tag. So the first question of the tag is, name a book where female friendships are prioritized. And I have picked this one over here. So this one is The Nowhere Girls. I just read this book, and it kind of, in ways, I adored it, and it also destroyed me. So the premise of this book is that you have this girl Lucy who was gang raped by a bunch of high school guys in this town, in this small town in the US, but nobody believed her. And her family ended up taking her and moving away. And then a new girl moves into this town, and Grace kind of starts to hear about what happened, and it starts to make her angry. And she forms this club with two of the other kind of outsider girls in the town called the Nowhere Girls. And basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to rally the women in the town and the girls in the town to kind of take back their power, to say sort of enough is enough. Men and boys, you can't treat women the way you do. And it's very misogynistic. It's very, you know, girls are kind of seen as pieces of meat. These boys have sort of this online blog where he talks about how many women he slept with and he sort of rates them, and it's all really misogynistic. But unfortunately, it's what happens in today's society all the time. And what I loved about this book is it kind of gave you all these different female characters. It went into the stereotypes, you know, the slut, the virgin, the cheerleader, but it showed how, you know, when you stand together and when you prioritize that female friendship over everything else, you can win. Because there's bits in this book where you think, oh, you know, that they're going to affect some change, and there's people that are against them. A lot of the town is against what they're trying to do, remarkably. And instead of just letting themselves be defeated, they continue and they carry on and they band together and they actually do affect some change. And it is a wonderful book, and I absolutely recommend this. So female friendship, The Nowhere Girls, read it, recommend it. The next book is name a book with feminist representations. So the one that I picked is this one over here, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, as you can probably tell, I love this book. This is probably one of my all-time favorite books now. I think most people know what it's about. It's been very hyped up, but it's about Evelyn Hugo, who is an old Hollywood actress, and she's telling her life story to a young journalist. And she talks about this, you know, she talks about her life, how she succeeded in her career, how she got where she was, you know, the 7 husbands she had, who she was really in love with. And this book just, I love the fact that Evelyn Hugo is a strong female character who isn't going to apologize for what she did to get to where she is. Because I think that happens a lot, is when women are successful, they will sometimes apologize for what they've done, and she's never apologetic. She says, look, I've made mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes. Everybody does things they maybe not necessarily proud of, but it's been my life. It's been my journey. This is how I have gotten to where I am, and I'm not going to apologize for that. You know, I fought and I won, and ultimately I got where I wanted to get. And I loved who I wanted to love, and I was myself and I was strong. And I love that about this book, so this is absolutely one of my favorites. Then the next question is, name a book where the author goes against the women or gender kind of stereotype, female gender stereotype. And the one I picked for this is Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman in itself goes against the stereotype of a male superhero saving the planet. What I love about Wonder Woman is that, obviously, she is an Amazon, which is another kind of, I guess it goes against gender stereotypes, the Amazons in general, because they're a society of warriors, and there's no men. And they are tough and they're strong and they fight. And that's what I love about this book. I love this book. It is totally female driven, and this book is actually fantastic. I gave this 5 stars. There's some great female friendships. and just strong, tough, wonderful, amazing women in this. So I highly recommend this kind of Leigh Bardugo version of Wonder Woman. Definitely read it if you want tough, kick-ass, wonderful women. The next book is, the next question is, name a book with a strong female lead. And I mean, obviously any of these could have sufficed, but the one I decided to pick is this Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Again, this was the first book I read this year and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And it's about a scientific kind of research boat that goes out to the Mariana Trench, basically to see if mermaids are real. And it turns out that these mermaids aren't the friendly, cuddly type. They're the typical sirens of legend in that they kill. And the lead character on this boat, I love her. She is a scientist. She is tough. She is queer. And I just love the lead character. In fact, I love all of the characters. Most of the cast is female. Most of the scientists are female, which I really love as well. And what Mira Grant has done is she's really portrayed these women as strong, independent, smart women. They're using their brains to get to where they are and accomplish something in life. And I love that. And again, I highly recommend this book. It's this beautiful kind of blending of fiction and horror and thriller and queer romance, and just wonderful, wonderful, strong female characters. Hugely recommend that. Then the next one is name a book with no romance in it. And the one that I've picked here is The 13th Tale by Deanne Satterfield. I love this book. Again, it's a 5-star read. It's a older woman, so she's an author in this case, telling her life story and what happened to her across the course of her life to a younger woman, a biographer. So I kind of love that format, but also it is interesting. It is, again, it reads a bit like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like a real biography, like you're actually reading someone's biography. Like I wanted to go look up her books, like Vida, was she real? No. And it's not about romance. Again, it's about, being who you are, finding the courage to be who you are, telling your life story. And it's about friendship and it's about family and it's about that kind of love. It's not a romance novel. And I really, really love that about this book. And it is a fantastic read. I highly recommend it. Say that about all of these. Then, name a book where a male character depends on a female character. And there's a few. I think Into the Drowning Deep kind of, that definitely works. Wonder Woman definitely works. But I thought I'd go for a different one because I wanted to. And I picked this one, A Blade So Black. This is another book. I was raving about this last year. I really hope we're going to get a sequel this year. I love this book. It's a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but it's kind of in an urban fantasy setting. And the main character, her job is to, Alice, is to go out and kill nightmares. So the premise is that nightmares attack humans. And what she does is she goes and she defeats these nightmares. And that's what I love about that. So she's being trained to do this by sort of her handler. But, she's the one that has to go out and kill. And she's the one that is kind of in the front line. And I love that. And the world, anybody that's being attacked by a nightmare depends on Alice. Depends on this girl, this kind of teenage girl that's trying to juggle her life, her friends, everything, and go out and kill these monsters. And I love this book. It is my favorite Alice in Wonderland retelling by far. And yeah, I recommend this again if you like kick-ass women who are tough, who are smart, who are interesting. Absolutely pick up this book. And then the next one is to choose your favorite female authors. So I have a few here. So I've just picked up some of them. So Deanne Satterfield has become one of my, there's my book, one of my all-time favorite female authors. I'm going to pick this up. Hello. Then my all-time favorite book ever is this one over here, Just Kids by Patti Smith. And Patti Smith, one of my favorite authors. She's insanely good. Beautiful, beautiful writing. Kate Atkinson. Even though I did not like her last book that I read, Transcription, I love all her other books. And this one particularly, Behind the Scenes of the Museum, and also Emotionally Weird. Fantastic. She's very character driven. And then I picked up this one as well. Just Anne Rice. I love Anne Rice. I like a good horror vampire novel, and I think there's far too few women in horror. So Anne Rice being another one. There's loads, but those are just some of the ones I picked up. And then the last question is to choose a feminist book to read in 2019. And I've actually kind of picked up two. So the first one is this one. It's the Audre Lorde, now let me see if I can get this right. Biomytherapy? Biography? I've got it completely wrong. Anyway, it's Audre Lorde's biography. And Audre Lorde is kind of a Black lesbian feminist icon. And this talks about her kind of struggles, her life, and to get to where she was. It's really, I'm really looking forward to this. And then the other one is this one. It's the Gilda stories. And this is lesbian vampires. Also, the protagonist, I think, is a person of color. And again, you've got tough, kick-ass vampire women, lesbian vampire women. And I think this is wonderfully feminist. And we really need more lesbian vampire fiction in life generally, I think. So anyway, so that's it. So that's me. That's a tag. Enjoyed that. Yeah, and I will speak to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.